Welcome back to the lecture series of Building Materials and Construction. So today we will discuss the second part of stone masonry. So now let's move on to the next topic. It's ashlar masonry. So now let's look into the definition of ashlar masonry. So it states that ashlar masonry consists of blocks of accurately dressed stone with extremely fine bed and end joints. So as you know, bed joint is the horizontal joint and end joint is the vertical joint. So it consists of blocks of accurately dressed stone with perfect horizontal and vertical joints. So the blocks may be either square or rectangular shape. The height of stone, in fact, varies from 25 to 30 centimeters. The height of blocks in each course is of same height. Please note the height of blocks in each course is of the same height. And the ashlar masonry may be subdivided into the following categories, like first one is the ashlar fine tool masonry, second ashlar rough tool masonry, third ashlar rock, rustic or quarry faced masonry, fourth one ashlar chamfered masonry, fifth ashlar block in course masonry, and sixth ashlar facing masonry. So now let's look into the detail of first type of ashlar masonry. It's called ashlar fine masonry. So this is the finest type of stone masonry work. So here each stone is cut into rectangular and required size and shape so as to have all sides rectangular, so that the stone gives perfectly horizontal and vertical joints with the adjoining stone as you see in the figure. The beds, the joints and faces are chisel dressed such that all the waviness and unevenness is completely removed and a fairly smooth surface is obtained. The thickness of the courses is generally not less than 15 centimeters. The width of stone is kept less than its height. The headers and structures are here laid alternatively in each course or course of headers. The thickness of mortar joint is kept uniform throughout and it should not be more than 5 millimeters. The exposed joints are here finely pointed. Now let's get into the detail of next type of ashlar masonry. So it's a ashlar rough tool masonry. So in this type of masonry, the beds and sides of each stone block are finely chisel dressed, just in the same manner as for the ashlar fine masonry. But the main difference here is that the exposed face is dressed by rough tooling. So here the exposed face of the stonework is maintained as it is, as quite rough. So here the exposed face is rough. Next, a strip about 25 millimeter wide is made by the means of a chisel is provided around the perimeter of the rough dressed face of each stone. Listen, a strip about 25 millimeter wide is made with a chisel around the perimeter of the rough dressed stone. So this type of masonry is also known as bastard ashlar. Here the size, angles, edges, etc. are maintained in order similar to that of dressed ashlar masonry. The thickness of the mortar joint here should not be more than 6 millimeters. Now let's look into detail the next type of ashlar masonry. So it's called the ashlar rock face masonry. So in this type of masonry, the exposed face of stone is not dressed but is kept as such so as to give rock facing. However, a strip of about 25 mm wide made by means of a chisel is provided around the perimeter of the exposed face of every stone. The projections on the exposed face exceeding 80 mm in height are removed by light hammering. Each stone block, however, is maintained true to its size with perfectly straight side faces and beds and truly rectangular in shape. This type of construction gives massive appearance. The height of each block may vary from 15 centimeters to 30 centimeters. The thickness of mortar joint may be up to 10 centimeters. So the main difference between ashlar rough tool and ashlar rock faced is that in case of rough tool ashlar, the exposed face is dressed by rough tooling, whereas in this case, in the case of rock face masonry, the face of stone is not dressed but is kept as such so as to give rock facing. So take a look at the next type of ashlar masonry. It's called the ashlar chamfered masonry. As you see in the image, this is a special form of rock-faced ashlar masonry in which the strip provided around the perimeter of the exposed face. Listen, the strip provided around the perimeter of the exposed face is chamfered or beveled. Chamfered or beveled at an angle of 45 degrees by means of a chisel to a depth of 25 millimeters. So here, the exposed face is chamfered or beveled at an angle of 45 degrees by means of a chisel to a depth of 25 millimeters. So due to this, as you see in the image, a groove is formed between the adjacent blocks of stone. So that's all about ashlar chamfered masonry. Next, let's look into the case of ashlar block in course masonry. So this is a type of masonry which is intermediate between rubble masonry and ashlar masonry. So this is not so fine as ashlar masonry, but can be found as a mix between rubble masonry and ashlar masonry. So the faces of each stone here are hammer dressed. The height of the blocks is kept the same in any course, although it's not necessary to keep uniform height for all the courses. So the vertical joints are not as straight and as fine as in ashlar masonry. You can find it in the image. The vertical joints are not as straight and as fine as in the case of ashlar fine masonry. The depth of the courses may vary from 15 to 30 centimeters. The type of masonry is adopted in the construction of heavy works like retaining walls, bridges, etc. So that's about ashlar block in course masonry. Next, we have the other type of ashlar masonry called ashlar facing masonry. So this type is provided along with brick or concrete block masonry to give a better appearance. As you see in the image, we have the shaded region as the stones and the other region as bricks. So face stones are here rough tool and the height of stone should not be less than 20 centimeters. Backing is made up of brick, concrete, etc. as I mentioned. Now look into the image. So here it is pretty clear about how to use stone as facing with brick or concrete. Guys, so these are some of the great monuments with ashlar masonry. The one on the left is the royal tombs at Greece, and one on the right is the pyramid of Menkaure at Cairo. Now let's see the difference between stone masonry and brick masonry. Stone masonry has high strength and excellent durability when compared to brick masonry, and no external treatment is required as far as appearance is concerned for stone masonry. However, it's less fire resistant when compared to brick, and there is no danger from dampness for stone masonry. However, it requires lifting devices for handling stone masonry, and the method of construction used is normally from quarrying and dressing stones, and cost is more when compared to brick masonry. And we usually use stone masonry for large structures like piers, dams, other huge residential projects. And that's all about stone masonry and its types. So guys, we'll continue the remaining topics in the next lecture. Hope this lecture was informative for you, and thank you for today. Bye.